Good morning YouTube, and welcome to my channel. The Cornwall trip is done and dusted. We've been back a day and a half now, and I am just on my way down to the workshop to take the car in. I cleaned it out yesterday. We brought back a good 2/3 of the beach with us, but nevertheless I gave her a good clean out yesterday, and we're on our way back to the workshop now, just to go over a few things. A really interesting experience for me, purely because it's the first time I've driven the car every day, over any distance, and overall I think I can't say enough about what a great experience it's been. We got down to Cornwall trouble-free, we got back trouble-free, so we'll get to the workshop and then we'll resume our little chat. And I found a few things out about the car that I didn't know, and I'll share a couple of experiences with you as well. The car's filthy, needs a damn good clean up. So I don't even know what colour my front wheels are, but I'll show you when I get there. Anyway, I'll catch up with you in a jiffy. Right, we're in the workshop, and you might recall a few minutes ago I said that we had a clean run up there and a trouble-free run back. Well, I just got out of the car to open the gates into the workshop, and I could hear this strange sort of noise coming from the engine, and I thought, oh, here we go. Spoke too soon. Like a metallic kind of noise, a bit occasional, but it's there. And then you switch it off and you start it up again, and it's not there straight away and it reappears. Didn't notice it this morning when I left home, but that was probably, you know, maybe it's because the engine was cold, I don't know. So you might be wondering why I'm wearing my little probe, my little stethoscope, and I stuck this on all the, well, you can only see so much without starting to take stuff off, but I managed to put this on a couple of the pulleys, the bearings on the pulleys, the water pump and the alternator. They all sounded okay apart from the alternator. The alternator was the noisiest, by far the noisiest out of all of them. And I probed the cats, and on one of the cats I could hear the ringing through the cat. So I'm still not sure. One of my tailpipes was a little bit, and I mean a little bit loose. I was tapping stuff with a mallet to see if I could get anything rattling or noise when it was switched off. I got a sore throat, sorry. But didn't really get anything out of that. So, hold on. Oh my goodness, that's not a good sign, is it? So I'm gonna have to look into that further. Oh, here we go. So anyway, I've done a little recording of the noise, which I'll include in the final video. But let's take a little walk around the car and you can see what state it's in after the old Cornwall trip. Now, bearing in mind we saw very little rain, it did rain a few times, but nothing immense. That's the rear wheels, rear wheel, the backs. It's a bit filthy, look how disgusting all this stuff on it. It's never been this dirty, ever. It's the rear let's say, I hoovered all the car out yesterday, cleaned all the mats, got all the sand out, so everything's tickety-boo inside there. The front wheels are atrocious. Look at how black they are. They are filth, which I'm going to give them a bit of a clean up, and the inner arches, etc. And the front, again, like I say, not a lot of dead wildlife on there, which is quite surprising. Although I've got to be honest, most of the way down we were doing sort of like 60, 70 miles an hour maximum. Coming back was quite slow with Stonehenge, etc. But interestingly, I was sitting having my sandwiches one day at the theme park, and I happened to notice just inside the driver's door there, you can just about, let's have a look, put my specs on, yeah, just to see there's like a little ring. And I thought, oh, I thought it was a bonnet pull, but in actual fact it's not. You put your fingers in it like that, pull it out like that, and what it does is it's a release for the petrol cap. So I imagine that should the release fail when you open and shut the car on your key or remote, that you can always open the fuel cap filler, so allowing you to fuel the car up. How cool is that? Now, I was quite impressed with that. I've got to blow my nose because it's a little bit ruddy. But yeah, overall not too bad. I'm going to give her a clean up now and have a little look at the possible noise issue, but I won't do that today. I've got about 4 weeks before my next trip out, so I shall have a thorough looking at it shortly. Now, just to give you a heads up on running costs. Now, I have completed round trip 838 miles, 0.2. That's Cornwall and back, and considerably quite a lot of running around. I think it was about 320 each way to Cornwall to Falmouth, and then the rest of it has just been beaches and theme parks and stuff like that. Now I'm close to my 1,000 mark. I'm going to turn me, I haven't touched anything yet. I am low on fuel, what a surprise. Let's get rid of that. And my oil level is still full, and the car is actually leaning back slightly, so whether that would be detrimental to it, I don't know. So I've not had to put any oil in the car for nearly 1,000 miles. The last part of my journey, sort of like dropping my daughter off, bit of running around town, I'm showing 25.3 miles to the gallon, but I can say that I was averaging 29.3 miles to the gallon. That was sort of hanging around the 3,000 RPM mark in sixth gear, and that would have been giving me around about 65, 70 miles an hour. So I'm quite pleased with that. It basically, I think, I'm not 100% sure on what a tank of fuel costs, but I believe roughly it's about £100 a tank is what I've worked it out at. So I did a tank on the way down. I topped it up as we got into just past Exeter, just because I was, still didn't know how far I had to go and whether I was going to be able to get fuel the other end, etc. So, and then on the way back, we filled up at Flambards, which is the theme park. There's a big Sainsbury's there. We filled up there, and we got all the way home on that. And I had I was back up to the check, consider your remaining mileage. I have put 30 quid in the car just on my way to the workshop, but it doesn't register it. I've got to put more than that in before my gauge will register the fuel consumption. So just to sum it up, basically it's, like I say, roughly it's a 320 mile trip. I've used a tank of fuel each way, give or take a few gallons. So giving me, when you fill your car up, you generally sort of get around the 250 mark come up on the mileage, depending on what you've been averaging. But as the journey progressed and it was all sort of like static, sort of like 65, 70s, pretty much all the way, the fuel range kept going up and up and up and up, and it went over the 300 mark. So about 340 at one point, I think, no, about 330, I think I had it at one point. So if you drive it sensibly and you're doing a long run, then yes, you can almost strike nearly 30 to the gallon out of it, whereas I get around town 16, 17, stop starting and giving it a bit of welly, etc. But I took it quite easy because obviously it's my first run out with a car of any distance. I didn't want to create any problems, whatever. So yeah, it all went very well, and I'm very, very pleased, and it's kind of given me an insight into Scotland, which is coming up on the 19th of September. So I've got an idea now of what sort of fuel consumption I'm looking at. I imagine for Scotland, it's about 500 miles, isn't it? Something like that. So I'm probably going to be into, say, £150 each way to Scotland, plus the North Coast 500. So again, I'm not too worried. I will be going up there at a sensible pace to get the maximum out of my fuel, and then I'll give it a bit large when I get there. I took some drone footage in Cornwall, not massive amounts. I felt a bit wary about launching it in places because there were so many people around. The beaches and that were absolutely lovely, but I did launch it around the side of some rocks and some little caves and stuff. So I'll put a bit of footage in with that. Not too much, because I'm sure you'll be bored silly by it.
Is about to start. Is it a fast ride?
I think it's a big slasher.
You like that ride up there?
No, that's what makes it sound sick.
Hang on a minute.
You'll hear the screams.
What's going on here? Oh, blimey, Charlie.
Oh no.
I don't like this too.
Remember to smile, Daddy.
I'm trying to remember to smile. Yeah, I'm trying to smile. This might be a crazy idea. Here goes. And I'll throw in a couple of pictures, and one of the best pictures I think I've taken the whole time was when we left in the morning at about 4:30, I think it was 4:45. I took a picture of my dash all lit up, and it's really the first time I've seen it like that. And I tell you what, I can't even think of a better looking instrument panel in the dark. It was amazing. Anyway, there's a few more bits to follow, but that's about it. I'm going to clean the car up now, and I'll give you a shot of her when she's cleaned up. And also any thoughts that you might have on my sort of metallic occasional noise that I'm getting all of a sudden. Can't hear it in the car, only heard it when I walk around the back of it. So I will be investigating that a little bit further. I'll probably have to take the airbox out and get a good look at things. Maybe take the belt off and see if I've got any issues with bearings or something, because I need to sort that out before Scotland. Anyway, let's get the car cleaned up. I just want to pay reference to the video that I did on the fuel E5 and E10 and the changes that are pretty much out there. I don't think anyone's really noticed. They've just relabeled pumps, etc. A lot of places were doing E5 and E10 for quite some time anyway. I ran a few tests as I was doing fuel by the load on my way down to Cornwall. Now, I refer to also a pinking issue that I had at very low res when I was going over speed humps slowly and letting the clutch out in maybe second, and you was getting that like brrr, like a brrr. But you can't do that, eh? Brrr. It's like a, yeah, it's like a metallic sort of pinking noise that we used to call in the old days. And I was running supermarket fuel on there. Now, I don't believe it's supermarket fuel that's the problem. Supermarket fuel is standard fuel is generally 95 RON. Now, Porsche's like sort of 99, which is where your E5 and your E10 scenarios come in. Your E10 is generally a 95, and your E5, they call it slightly different names across the board, different manufacturers, different outlets, etc. But it's generally like a 99 or a 99 plus on the E5. Now, I filled my car up prior to going to Cornwall with E5, a super grade fuel, the top one I could get at the time, and the pinking disappeared. The fuel was quite low, so it got a good tank of fresh 99 plus RON fuel, and I'd also added that bottle of valve engine cleaner stuff, you know, that Red X gear, as I said I was going to do. Now, on the way down, halfway through, I said I filled up again, just because I wasn't sure how far I had to go, etc. And I couldn't, all I could get in the garage, it was an Esso garage, and all I could get in there was E10. So I put the E10 in. I thought, oh, well, you know, it's being mixed with E5. We'll see how we go. And it was exactly the same. I had no problems whatsoever, didn't even notice the difference. So you can mix the two, and it's not a bad idea if you want to save a few pennies, especially if you're doing a lot of miles at the end of the day. So I ended up sort of mixing, I think I put over half a tank of E10 in with the existing E5 to fill the tank up. And then when I came to the end of the holiday and I filled up again at Sainsbury's, I put E5 super unleaded in there, which again was well over half a tank, probably almost 3/4 of a tank, which is what I came home on with no issues whatsoever. So I think if you balance it out a little bit, you can probably sort of go half and half. If you buy a multi-grade, you know, there's big differences in the prices. You know, you're talking maybe 10 pence, 12 pence a litre for the premium unleaded. So maybe more in places. I did notice, like, especially on like the M3, the fuel prices up there were like 145, something like that. And I'm like, whoa. But as I got closer past Exeter, it came down a little bit, thank goodness, a bit closer to home. So that's what I would do. When I go to Scotland, I'm certainly going to mix and match a little bit, certainly keep it at least 50-50, just to get a bit more value out of my fuel, because we all know how expensive it is, and especially when you're going to go out and do I reckon we're probably looking at a 1,500 mile trip at least to Scotland. So that's going to be about £400 worth of fuel. It's a lot of money. So we'll be balancing that out a little bit and mixing it up. But I won't ever run on E10 on its own again, purely and simply because it's just not got that knock rating that is required to stop the fuel burning too soon in the cylinders. Anyway, Now let's get the car cleaned up. I am having a cup of tea because I've started sniffing and I need a cup of tea. But we'll clean the car up and see how we go. Well, finally got the car clean. It must have taken about 10 minutes on each wheel. I've never let the car get that dirty before. My goodness. Anyway, it's 3 o'clock now. I must have started that about 1. So let's take a look at the car. I feel like death warmed up, to be quite honest. So I'm going to let her dry out a little bit outside and put her away. And I need to go and chill out a little bit, I think. Let's take a look at the car. There she is, back to her former glory. I've literally just washed it, rinsed it and leathered it. And dried the wheels off each afterwards. And you'll notice the old rust layer that's formed on the disc, so I should be running that off before I put the car away. It's always a good idea to, when you wash your car, if you're going to put it away straight away, take it out for a little run around the block. Just get the discs clean. It saves you all that debris that's going to fall onto your nice clean wheels next time you go out. Yes, I shall be investigating my little funny noise. Oops. Do let me know what you think that noise might be. I just moved it a few minutes ago, didn't hear it at all. You know, I think it's a bearing noise myself. It'd be interesting to know if you've experienced anything similar. I lifted the front hood and dried out all the gutters and etc. So that's about it for the return to Cornwall cleanup. Well, that's about it from me, Porsche Fanatics. Hope you've enjoyed the little video and hope to catch up with you very soon. I will be doing a video on my little issue with my little rattle stroke bearing-y sort of noise that's occasional on the back. I do think it's a pulley or a bearing or something like that, but we'll have a look. I thought it might have been the cat, one of the cats rattling inside. That's the kind of thing it could have been. It's like a ting, 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 ting. But we'll see. That will be another video because I'll have to dismantle some of the back end to get access to everything. And while I'm in there, I'll probably change the serpentine belt as well because I don't know. I think that's been on there about 3 years, so it won't hurt to change that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you can. Thank you to all my new subscribers and existing ones. Appreciate your support. And we'll crack on with more 997 stuff, including my winter projects, which will kick in sort of end of September, October, when the tax runs out, because I only tax it for 6 months of the year. It forces me to get the car off the road and have a play. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. Take care. Bye.